Hi there, and welcome to the Punk Patriot. This vacuous expanse you find me in is not hell or limbo, but the home of author and political philosopher Ayn Rand. Thank you for agreeing to this interview, Ayn. Now, before we get started, just to lighten things up a little, I understand that you do a killer impersonation of Oscar the Grouch. Could you go ahead and show us that? Very nice, very nice. Now, just to prove that I'm actually talking to you and that this isn't just me playing around with a green screen, I'd like to ask you a question about current affairs. What do you think about the recent referendum votes that overturns the legality of gay marriage?
I object to the idea that people have the right to vote on everything. I do not believe that if a majority votes on any issue, that this makes the issue right.
That sounds reasonable. I'm glad that we can agree on at least that much. Now, to where we start to disagree. In keeping with your belief that the poor are morally inferior and should be destroyed for the betterment of society, I understand that you used to kill stray dogs and cats for fun. Where, pray tell, did you put all of the bodies? I mean, you don't have to. Oh, I get it. You're pointing with your eyes, aren't you? To all the places where you put the dead bodies.
Yes.
Oh, dear God. Moving right along. Now, back when you were interviewed by Mike Wallace, we were still living in the era of the Great Society, which by most standards was a period when the United States of America was the most socialist that it's ever been. Your political and economic philosophies really hadn't had a chance to be tested in the laboratory of the real world at that point. Since then, however, thanks to followers of yours like Milton Friedman and the cooperation between the CIA and the Chicago School of Economics, we've had a chance to put your theories to the test in places like Chile, Argentina, Indonesia, and even your home country of Russia. Now, all of these experiments have led to despotism and the death of millions. It would seem that your philosophies have little to offer the losers of these conquests in the way of greater personal freedom. So, just to be fair to you and your philosophy, what does your morality offer the victims of these exploits other than misery and death?
That is all that my morality offers them.
Wow. That's pretty harsh.
No, it isn't.
Well, knowing now what Randism inevitably leads to...
First of all, I do not call it Randism, and I don't like that name.
Well, whatever you want to call it, what do you have to say about your philosophy?
I consider it evil.
Really?
Yes.
Well, how would you describe the efforts of your followers to put your philosophies into practice in the real world?
It is more than immoral, it's impossible. I feel that it is terrible, that you see destruction all around you, and that you are moving toward disaster, and it is precisely these trends which are bringing the world to disaster.
That's very honest of you to admit. Would you say that your philosophies have been debunked by reality?
Unfortunately, yes.
Wow. Wow. This is really amazing. Well, you heard it here first on the Punk Patriot. Ayn, in light of what you know now, what do you think moral guidelines for personal conduct should be?
Man's moral duty is to live for others. Man must work for others, concern himself with others, be responsible for them, in order to justify his existence, that his moral duty is to serve others.
Wow. It really seems like you've turned a corner, Ayn. Okay, now some questions just for fun. I thought it would be funny, since you speak in English with a heavy Russian accent, if I were to ask you some questions in Russian with a heavy American accent. May I?
You may.
Okay, good. Как вы себя чувствуете, когда вы едите грибы?
The way everybody feels, except more consciously.
So you've done mushrooms. Какая твоя любимая sexualная позиция?
Voluntary consent, voluntary cooperation of free men.
Whoa, did you say 3 men?
Not always.
Ayn, you dog.
And I do not believe that people have to go that way.
Вы флиртуете на меня.
Yes.